So boom, I'm coming home one day. I get home and then my neighbor comes across the street and starts talking to death about parking on my side of the street. We had words. I told her to go that way since she don't pay the mortgage or taxes over here. And then I went into my house. A little later, found out that she had called the police. Even though I hadn't done anything illegal or wrong, and even though I'm a criminal defense attorney, I was still nervous in this situation because this is at my house and you're talking about dealing with the police officer. So the officer from CMPD was very polite. We didn't have any issues with her. Um, and even though there was nothing that I did wrong, I still was very nervous in this situation. And so this inspired me to kind of do a 30 before 30 series. And what that means is I was pulled over more than 30 times before I turned the age of 30 or had 30 significant interactions with police officers. Most of them were traffic stops. So the point of this series is to kind of coach you through some of the right and wrong things that you can do. Feel like this was a constructive outlet, and starting with this instance and then going back to the first time I was ever pulled over. So in this particular instance, I didn't do much talking. I let my lady do most of the talking, said a couple of words. I always advise that you keep it brief. And even though I didn't do anything, I still felt nervous because I know not doing anything doesn't mean much in the criminal system sometimes. Sometimes people get caught up, wrong time, wrong place, and sometimes things escalate. Thankfully, this police officer was not escalating it. She was very understanding, and so salute to her. First time I ever got pulled over, though, I was driving the car. I was like 16, riding through College Park in Virginia Beach, and I just dropped my mans off and I was going on my way out. I was going straight. The officer came up behind me. Then I made a left turn. Then I made a right turn. Then I made another turn, and he followed me throughout all those things. So I felt like I was being profiled, and I thought I hadn't done anything wrong. So when he finally pulled me over right before I exited the neighborhood, I felt like this was going to be some bull, and so my attitude reflected as such. Little did I know that I actually had expired tags because at age 16 you don't know everything, and it was what it was. But the officer had an attitude as well, not sure of his reasoning why. He also asked me if I had anything illegal in the car, to which I said no. He gave me the ticket, nothing much happened. But I bring this up to bring up a couple of points when you're talking about traffic stops. Number one, uh, even though it's not morally right to be profiled, uh, the law allows for you to be pulled over for minor infractions if those infractions indeed exist. And so in that case, I had expired tags. Some other examples may include in the state of North Carolina, some other examples may include a license plate light, maybe a rolling stop at a stop sign, a seatbelt violation. Sometimes they use fair to maintain lane control. So these are some pretty petty or minor traffic stops that get you into interact with the cops. And then sometimes those things escalate. Uh, in these instances, we teach know your rights seminars. In these instances, we always say keep it brief. Yes, no. You can roll down the window. Uh, Make sure that you have your license and your registration kind of ready and already ready to hand over him for when they ask, and just do that. And like I said before in the earlier one, if you're pulled over, you have to show your license and registration if you're in a car. So, in that particular instance, I didn't know what my registration was. It could have been a bad thing. That officer wasn't reaching too much. I told him no, didn't have any weapons. He left it at that. Sometimes they try to trick you into consenting to search your car, and sometimes they trick you into consenting to getting out the car. And those can be dangerous situations, especially if you have multiple people in the vehicle. But in most situations, just say no, I refuse to search. I refuse to get out the car unless you're telling me that I have to get out the car. And then there are some exceptions when you have to get out the car due to officer safety. But I say all that to say this. So make sure that you are following the law. You have your tags up to date. You have your registration up to date. You're not speeding, which, those can be difficult, he said versus she said situations in court. And if you actually do have reasonable suspicion or probable cause that there is a traffic infraction, they can pull you over and escalate that to find and do other things such as a search. Sometimes they try to get you to consent to searches or step out of the car. And there are limited circumstances where they believe that you are a danger or a threat due to your either criminal history or due to something that they may have on their side that you may not be aware of. That suggests that you may be a dangerous suspect. So you don't know what this officers know or what they know. And even in that situation with my neighbor, I don't know what she told the officer. I don't know what she said. I do know what happened, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what she communicated to the officer. So try to approach some of these things with an open mind. Keep the information that you give out at a minimum, and then just make sure that if you are asked for something, you can tell the difference between being ordered for something and being asked something. So am I being detained, or am I free to leave? Those are the key words that you want to keep in mind without trying to learn everything about the Fourth Amendment. So with that being said, we're going to kick off this 30 before 30 series and look forward to seeing you next Friday.